almost every family that's in our shelter program, our shelter and housing assistance program, has at least one child that has some kind of special needs, either ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities, very far behind in school. A lot have not had access to early childhood development, preschools, and so a lot of the children who are with us, who are in a homelessness type of situation, the children really do seem to have some kind of learning disabilities and are far behind.
In children, early development is a window of opportunity. The development is happening very quickly. Important aspects of brain development are being, a foundation is being laid down that will have an importance later on for learning.
The biggest impact I've seen is the educational impact on the children and also the emotional impact on these children. A lot of times kids are not in school. They are unable to come to school because they don't know where they're going to be for the night. Families are not sure where they're going to be. They're bouncing from house to house, from friends' homes to relatives' homes or shelters. We've had stories of when families have been also kicked out of shelters, and that poses a big problem. So there's definitely no stability when it comes to the housing piece, and which impacts their attendance in school and thereby their education, and what it does to the kids emotionally too. There's since there's no consistency in their life, they emotionally they just falling to pieces.
The first time it was like I had 4 children and I was pregnant with the 5th. And during that time I was, going through a lot of different, things in my life where, I was in jail or, kids were in foster care and stuff of that nature. So, I mean, it really impacted them, and it affected their academics. It affected, their relationships with other people, their peers, and, they always compared themselves to, someone else's situation. And it really, made me, really want to do the right thing for them, to get it together so that they won't have to feel the way that they were feeling.
It's a great impact on their esteem, number one, on their ability to achieve. I mean, when a child is worried about where he's going to live, and when he leaves school today, am I going home? Is there a home to go to? Or where am I going? And so a child should not have to worry about basic needs. They should be able to go to school and feel good about who they are and concentrate on learning.
Well, I believe it really affected the older kids more because they were really more in tune of what was going on. The younger kids just kind of went with whatever was happening. As long as they were with mom, they was okay. They really didn't understand what was going on, but I really believe that it affected the older children because, they knew, they watched us go from having a place to not having a place, and and it caused them to act out more because they wasn't able to really ask questions. They just acted out more.
Many of our children are at least a grade behind in school, so we have a tutoring program that concentrates on reading and their math skills, because when you can't read, you can't be a part of a classroom. Reading is like the basic skill to every other type of learning. If you can't read, you can't do social studies. If you can't read, you can't do story problems in math. If you can't read, you can't do science. If you can't do math, you can't do science. It all interacts with their abilities when they're not concentrating in class because they don't know where their home is. or their basic needs are not being met, it's very difficult for them to learn and concentrate to learn, because it takes concentration. All of us know that, to do anything. And so when you're getting new knowledge imparted into you and you're thinking about, am I going to have dinner tonight?
I wasn't aware of just how the things I take for granted that other people don't have, support systems, networks. If the worst case scenario would happen to me and I were to lose my job or lose my health or whatever, I got friends and I got families and I've got things to fall back on. I've learned that a lot of folks don't have that. They're completely isolated. And so one aspect of, I think, addressing poverty is to provide support systems for these folks, networks, so they're not going through life alone. We think that if we can just get a job per person flipping burgers, they're going to be okay. But in Minnesota, we've got a ton of jobs, but you can't live off of them. You just cannot support a family of two flipping burgers. So we need to have some job skills training programs to help people get jobs that they can be proud of and that can earn them enough income so they can get into housing.
Children count. The children are important. And it's really important for us to address this issue right now while we can, so that we can help break the chain. And you know, they're just precious, and we really, if we can help them now and get services and help them on a path of stability right now, it's my belief that that is really going to help the future.